Resilience, the ability to recover from or adjust easily to misfortune or change. Got to have it. It's going to happen, and man, we got to excel in it. The cracks of living life, playing in the NFL, fill them with gold, man.
It's time for another edition of the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy, inside the Globe Life studio here at the Star in Frisco. I'm Bill Jones alongside Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy. It's been a big week for the team. Happy Thanksgiving weekend to all of you. Happy Thanksgiving weekend to you, Coach. And when you have a week like you've had, it makes that turkey go down a little smoother. 40-3 win over the Vikings last Sunday, and then follow that up on Thanksgiving Day, 28-20 over the Giants.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we're right where we wanted to be. At the end of this week, I think clearly, this is my third year on this schedule, and it's a challenge. It really is. I think you look at both the Giants and our football team. It's the flu and cold season, all the things that play into the game, coming off of an excellent win in Minneapolis, but I feel really good about where we sit, and we have a chance to catch our breath, rest up, because we obviously have a very, very interesting run here in front of us.
Well, let's get started talking about your offense, and we've seen the return of Zeke Elliott this past week with Zeke and Tony Pollard. The drives in that game on Thursday, in the first quarter, a 93-yard, 11-play drive. Start the third quarter going 75 yards in 17 plays. Then you follow that up with 80 yards on 11 plays. This offense is doing what you want it to do, isn't it?
Definitely. I mean, we spend so much time emphasizing efficiency. When you have 3 plays north of 10-plus plays, really 7-plus plays is the mark that you're looking for as far as series, and because off of that comes time of possession, field position, and all those things too. But ultimately, scoring points is the end game. I get that, but that's been really good for us, and it really starts with running the football, and our run blocking unit is playing at a high level. We're doing a lot at the line of scrimmage, so we need to continue to look at those things, and then obviously featuring both Zeke and Tony has been huge for us. And the consistency of it is we just got to stay after it, because that's a big part of our path to victory.
And then you look at Dak Prescott, and no sacks the last couple of games to start with. 78% completion percentage, 9.8 yards per attempt in these last couple of games.
Yeah, definitely. I think Dak is doing exactly what we were asking him to do. He's managing a high octane offense as far as just job responsibility. Both in the run and the pass and the protection. So we're definitely making gains, and I really like obviously the confidence that he always plays in, but the ability to use his feet, activate the scramble drills. I think he's not trying to maximize every pass play. He's just doing a really good job of getting through progressions and dealing with football.
And how big of a challenge was it particularly against a Giants team that blitzes so much, and his command of the offense? You can really see what he can do there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's obviously the way they want to play, and then I think really, particularly on some of these long drives, that to go that much empty pressure, it's obviously a lot more than we saw the first game up here on Monday night in New York. So, yeah, it's these are great games to compete in. I love it when you play the very aggressive opponent, because obviously when you're victorious, comes with that some bumps and bruises come out of those games, but it's all part of that growth that you can pay forward. So, the ability to have your protection schemes to be emptied out on, because you just don't get those reps in practice. You don't get the speed of it, the diversity with it. So we'll definitely be better from it.
All right, I want to talk about your tight end room, and they're so fun to watch on the field. They're so fun to watch in the red kettle too.
Yeah.
Pretty nice game from your tight ends on Thursday.
Yeah, definitely. The red kettle was the highlight for sure. No doubt. It's I don't know. It looked like they practiced it a few times. Actually,
did,
pretty
yeah.
coordinated. So, no, it was excellent. I think it shows their creativity, but also shows their bond too. So, it's just a great bunch.
All right. So which of those tight ends? I'm watching the whack-a-mole right there. Which of those tight ends has the best vertical?
Ooh, the best vertical.
I'm asking that obviously because Jake Ferguson hurdled a defender in that game.
I would have to go with Peyton. Would be my guess. And I was teasing Jake after the game. I says, I was standing right behind you. You hurdled the first one. I said, you were getting ready to hurdle the second one, but you knew you didn't have it. So he lowered his pads
through that guy.
Blast through
Yeah.
it. So what a great play.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. All right, we're just getting started on this edition of the Mike McCarthy Show. Up next, it's David Moore of the Dallas Morning News.
The Mike McCarthy Show, presented by Reliant, is brought to you by AT&T, the official 5G innovation partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Ford F-Series, the best-selling truck in Texas. The University of North Texas, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. It's Miller time. And by Reliant, an NRG company.
Welcome back to the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy inside the Globe Life studio on a Thanksgiving weekend. Bill Jones now joined by David Moore of the Dallas Morning News, sportsdaydfw.com. Happy Thanksgiving to you, David.
You too, sir.
And it's the annual tradition, 3 games in 12 days for the Cowboys. And the Cowboys came out of this with a 2-1 record. Wasn't exactly the way that we thought they might approach this, but 2-1 coming out of these 3 games isn't all bad at all.
Well, this is a good segment for us because for some reason Mike McCarthy and coaches just focus on one game at a time. We don't have those constraints. We can look at any sample size we want at any time.
There you go.
And the 3 games in 12 days is a rough stretch for any team. And I've always maintained even a really good team to come out of that stretch 2-1 says a lot about where you are as a football team if you're able to do that. Felt Dallas needed to do that this year to keep their aspirations in place. And in my mind, in a lot of ways, the way they responded to the start of this 12-day stretch makes them an even better team going forward because they did do this the hard way. They did it by an overwhelming win in Minnesota, a Minnesota team that came back and put up like 39 points on New England 4 days after being held to 3 points by Dallas, and then fought through illness, the short week, coming off that high to go ahead and dominate in the second half against New York and take care of business there. So they kept exactly what they needed to do going forward. They positioned themselves well for this stretch run.
All right, about where they're positioned right now as they reset with this mini bye week, coming off Thanksgiving with those Odell Beckham Jr. rumors out there. He's going to pay a visit here in a week or so from now. These wide receivers are stepping up their game right now.
They really are. You hear the speculation about Odell Beckham Jr., and he would be a welcome addition to Dallas or several of the other teams he's going to talk to, the Giants and Buffalo as well. But what you have seen is CeeDee Lamb has had 2 of his best games of the season in this 3 games and 12-day stretch. Both over 100. It was over 100 again on Thanksgiving. He seems to really be embracing that lead receiver role at the NFL level for the first time in his career. He's certainly been that in high school and college. A little different on this level, been outstanding. And Michael Gallup had his best game coming back from the ACL last year, and I thought in the first half, especially against the Giants, was very, very good.
I look at this overall team, and there seems to be depth at every position. If they were to suffer an injury or whatever, the cornerback position concerns me after Jordan Lewis went down with the injury. You got Deron Bland getting a lot of snaps there. Kelvin Joseph missed the last game due to illness, but there's not as much depth there.
I think this is a remarkably deep team across the board, especially in today's NFL when you look at the salary cap constraints. In my mind, that's the one area, cornerback, where they're weak. And one injury puts them in a precarious position in my mind. And, you lost Anthony Brown for a half because of the concussion the other day. And you could see Green Bay attacked him, did some things, and it was kind of a high wire act the rest of the way. They can afford an injury at the secondary the way this team is composed at the moment.
All right, David Moore, we appreciate it. And up next year on the Mike McCarthy Show, we talk with CeeDee Lamb.
This segment is brought to you by Blockchain.com. Trusted by millions. Trusted by America's team.
CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver. I take it as a lot more, being a responsible player, if you will, or teammate, and just understanding that situation, regardless of whenever it comes up to the receiver room or the group, my name is going to be brought up first. Every now and then, I mean, they'll ask me a couple questions, but I'm also learning as well. You know, I mean, when they ask me questions and then as I tell them, I'm telling myself. So if I were to tell them how to run a specific route, I will understand, like, myself to show them, you know. I like to lead by example. Quarterback changes are always different, no matter the situation. Just understanding that I was with Dak throughout the whole offseason, and then not having him, like, after, you know, game one, it was tough. But obviously, you know, Coop came in and he did what he had to do, and just rocking with him throughout the 5 to 7 games, if you will. It's safe to say that he's done a heck of a job, you know, just leading his team and leading us to the, you know, victory. I take blocking very seriously. Any moment that I can help or contribute to us scoring, I will, whether that's blocking, catching, running, throwing, whatever, you know, is asked of me. Honestly, in the offseason, I feel like we spent the majority of the time together. A lot of guys got away, but then obviously, you know, coming back for workouts, there was a lot of people in attendance, and just the camaraderie we built throughout the offseason.
That's C.D. Lamb after the game on Thursday. 6 catches, 106 yards. As Coach Reed joins us here. And C.D. playing very well. In fact, the last 3 games, 2 100-yard games for him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's, you know, I just love the way he plays. You know, obviously a tremendous talent, but his, you know, his fight and tenacity is just awesome. I mean, we're just watching a young player grow right in front of us. So he just continues to cash in on his opportunities. Obviously, he's getting more and more attention each week from the defense, and but he's been delivering big for us.
And just being on the same page with Dak too.
Yeah.
It really seems to be coming along.
Yeah, you could see that last year, in my opinion. Yeah, they're definitely, they have a strong connection, you know, and that's so important. I mean, I think, and Dak gets that as strong as anybody that I've worked with is, you know, when you have the younger receivers, you know, you have the opportunity to grow with them, to train with them, and you know, it's just a huge part of their connection.
And to have a player like that with that versatility, where you can line him up wherever you want to, and then also use him in the run game too.
Well, you just go back to his college days. You know, you're calling even, you know, his rookie season. I mean, he's a tremendous returner too. So his ability to play out of the backfield, and, you know, that's what I talk about, playing all 4 positions. You know, he can play the 3 receiver positions, but also has the ability to come from the backfield and play. That's speaks volumes to his diversity and his talent. But you know, you know, I think Kellen's and his staff are doing an excellent job of utilizing his talents.
All right, we continue with the Mike McCarthy Show in just a moment. We turn our attention to that Dallas defense when we come back.
This segment was brought to you by Blockchain.com. Trusted by millions. Trusted by America's team. This segment is brought to you by WinStar World Casino and Resort, the casino of the Dallas Cowboys.
The Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy, continues now here inside the Globe Life studio. Bill Jones with the head coach. Let's talk about your defense a little bit. As this past week, of course, the 40-3 win over the Vikings. Giants get a late touchdown to get to 20 points in the game on Thursday. But you got to feel pretty good every time you step on the field with what you've got on that defensive side.
Oh, no doubt. They're the thermostat. You know, they keep every game, you know, within the realm to go for victory. So yeah, I think our defense has been extremely consistent in that area. You know, we play aggressive, so you know they may have a big play, you know, hit us once in a while, but our big play production and, you know, in our 3rd down stops, the 4th down stops in that game were huge. You know, they're frankly like turnovers. So yeah, I thought our defense definitely, you know, really set the tempo there early.
And of course, it seems like setting the tempo every game is number 11. Micah Parsons has 4 sacks in the last 2 games, now up to 12 on the season. Just the relentless spirit that he approaches everything is so impressive.
Oh yeah, he has obviously tremendously gifted, as we recognize every time, but his competitive spirit is outstanding. And you know, and it's really, you know, very high competitive spirit, but on a very competitive defense too. So I think it's definitely something that runs through our whole defense, and you know, you can see it, you know, both in the front end and the back end, and you know, it's a great place to be when you're competing against your teammates for production. And and that's what we have going clearly on defense.
It really becomes contagious, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it's infectious and contagious, whatever how you want to express that. But yeah, he's a special young man.
All right, how about stopping the run? Of course, it's something that was an issue, a real issue a couple of weeks ago against Saquon Barkley and the Giants. He had 39 yards on 11 carries. What are you seeing as far as the improvement?
Well, just you've said it. We stopped the run. I think clearly if you look at their play selection, and I think they were 40% run, 60% pass in their opportunities, and and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make them one-dimensional. Play to our strength was the opportunity to get after the passer and get our hands on the football. So yeah, I mean, stopping the run was a priority, and obviously Saquon and David were our focal points, and I thought our defense did an excellent job keeping those two guys in check.
Leighton Vander Esch led you in tackles on Thanksgiving against the Giants. Couple of big plays on third down plays, completions to Saquon Barkley, keeping him from getting the first down.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Leighton because he's been extremely consistent all year. He's the ability to be the green dot. Obviously when J-Ron went down with the injury. So yeah, Leighton is part of that competitive spirit. Obviously, in the second year of this defense, just the command and the understanding, and I think Leighton has been extremely consistent for us all year.
And with Anthony Barr dealing with his injury issue right now, the rookie Damone Clark got 46 snaps against the Giants.
Yeah, definitely. And Damone needs to play. Obviously, all the time he missed, throughout the off-season program, training camp, and early season. So, he's just a young man that'll continue to excel and ascend as his opportunities increase.
All right, penalties was an issue on Thursday. I know that it's something that's frustrating you right now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's something you have to look at from every angle, and the most important is from our own angle. Are we doing things that is putting a higher stress level on our offense and in pre-snap? So I mean, these are the conversations we have continuous as a staff, and but we need to continue to teach and stay after this, because if you go off and beat a division opponent and you have twice as many penalties, that's not going to happen too many times, especially with we had 2 giveaways there too. So I think that speaks to how good we can be. But yes, it's that was our highest total of the year, and we have to improve in that area.
All right, we wrap up the Mike McCarthy Show in just a moment.
This segment was brought to you by WinStar World Casino and Resort, the casino of the Dallas Cowboys.
Stop hurting ourselves on drives and self-inflicted wounds, whether it be me turning the ball over, being too aggressive, or not on the same page as receivers. False starts, we've got to clean all that stuff up. But I'm as confident as I can be and always have been in this team. As I told y'all earlier in the week, that doesn't matter who says anything about what they believe in. I know what this team is capable of, especially with this defense that we have. So we just got to continue to keep our heads down, take it one day at a time, one game at a time. And as I said, we control everything that's in front of us.
Final couple of minutes here of the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy. All right, Mike, I want to bring up a tweet that one of your leaders on your team tweeted out on Thanksgiving night. It was J-Ron Curse. He simply stated, "I love this team." That's one of the things about this team right now. You're sitting there 8-3, okay? You reset this mini bye weekend, you're getting ready for the stretch run of the season. You have to love where this team is right now.
No, I really do. I mean, I love the coming out of training camp, because I mean, you can see, everybody talks about culture and everybody's trying to grow the culture, and at the end of the day, it's really comes down to the connection of the players in the locker room, and it's very strong. I mean, it's been evident all year. So, and the reality of it is, when you continue to win and you continue to success, it's only going to grow stronger. So, we spent a lot of time talking about resiliency and adversity advancement, and so what that does, it just really breeds to increasing the confidence in that locker room. But yeah, this is a fun, a competitive locker room that, I mean, they're a joy to coach, because you can't push them hard enough. I mean, they respond every time you challenge them. So I'm right there with them. I love this team too.
All right, it's going to be an exciting time in the month of December and on into January. Coach, we appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend, and all of you as well, and we'll see you again next week on the Mike McCarthy Show.
The Mike McCarthy Show, presented by Reliant, was brought to you by Blockchain.com. Trusted by millions, trusted by America's team. Ford F-Series, the best-selling truck in Texas. Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. It's Miller time. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl.